Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is October 20th, 2013. This past Monday, it was my oldest son's birthday. He turned 7. And on that same day, I celebrated 12 years with you guys, and I'm blessed. I'm going to get situated real quick. Give me 1 second. Phone's up here and stuff. Water. All right. So, I want to tell everybody in this room real quick that I'm so glad that I'm nervous right now because a guy that I really care for in AA, I'm not going to break his anonymity, told me if you get up here and you're not a little nervous at first, you probably got an ego problem. You're probably a little, probably need some medication, either a little up or a little down. But I feel a little nervous at the beginning because I want to just deliver a message here tonight to my friends, the ones I care for and the people I don't know. So I'm going to say my name is Chris. I'm an alcoholic. I woke up this morning relieved of the mental obsession to use alcohol. And that is a miracle because when I was getting here, I was hurting bad. I mean, I was in a really, really bad shape mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all that. It was a big, big mess when I got here, and my life was totally unmanageable. I was also born in the Garden State of New Jersey, in North Bergen, born in Palisades General in August 1982. But I mainly lived in a small town suburb, Middlesex County of New Jersey, Spotswood. Small little town, 2 square miles, and we did a lot of drinking there. A lot of drinking. Thank you to my brother for reminding me of falling in the pool. That was somewhat an event. Just to let you guys know, when you're really drunk, and someone explained to me when I was in the military, and I'll get that in a second. My friend in the military told me that when you're really, really drunk and you're like how we drink, the world is your toilet bowl. And I was like, man, that's kind of weird. But I went outside to use the bathroom, thought I was going to use the bathroom, and I fell into an in-ground pool, and it was freezing. It was snowing. There was ice everywhere. I was almost drowning. It was really bad. So let's get to the next card. Came prepared tonight. So I'm going to be mentioning my father a lot, the military. You know, I did an 8-year contract in the United States Marine Corps. I did the delayed entry program. I joined actually my junior year of high school. I signed up for the delayed entry program, and then I went into boot camp in 2001, in summer of 2001. To Paris Island, South Carolina. My senior trip was 2003 to a combat tour in the Middle East in Iraq. I'm not going to really go down that road too deep. For those in the military that have been over there, you know what it's all about, and you've deployed, you've got an idea what I'm going to talk about. I'll talk a little bit about it because let's see what else. I went back for my second tour. I actually was getting ready to get out of the military, but they offered me a 6-month deployment that I could do. So, you know, being a good alcoholic, I said, well, where are we going? They're like, we're going on a Navy ship. 3 Navy ships leaving from North Carolina, going to the Middle East and back. I said, okay, sign me up. I got nothing better to do. Plenty of drinking, that sounds good. And then during my second deployment is when things started getting really bad. It's really sad to admit, to say here in front of a group full of people I don't know, some people I do know, that I've been to just about every state in the country and about 50 countries, and I can't tell you much about where I've been because most of the time I was blacked out drunk or I was severely intoxicated. So it's kind of sad to say. I've been to Dubai, I've been to Iraq, Jordan, Israel, Dubai twice actually, a bunch of other countries, places and stuff like that, seen the world. But whenever they had beer in the pier, that was the first place I went, or if we got some Liberty ports, that's where I went. I went to go drink. That's what I wanted to do. And things started getting really bad towards that deployment. I actually received 3 non-judicial punishments for directly related to my drinking and for breaking orders and not listening to people. And I was actually going to get ready to be a E5 sergeant, but I was a corporal at the time, E4, and I actually went backwards 3 ranks, which is not too fun in the military because they take your money away, and they put you in places, and it's really crappy. So let's see. So I get out of active duty in 2006, and my life was it was in shambles. It was a pretty big mess. Like my father was asking me, he said, you want to go to a meeting with me? You want to go to a meeting? I'm like, I don't know about that. I was still doing, and I'm going to stick to alcohol. My story does have drugs and other things, but I'm going to stick to alcohol. I do have, that's a whole other story, so I'm going to get into it tonight. I just focus on alcohol, but my drinking was my biggest problem. It caused a lot of torture to me, a lot of mental torture. I'm actually, to this present day, I'm a 100% service-connected disabled veteran, directly related to some PTSD, combat-related mental health problems. And it's going to sound really interesting here for a second, but they diagnosed me from the VA as bipolar type 1 with psychotic features, which I think sounds kind of cool, but it's not that cool if you really think about it. It's kind of messed up. So let's see. There's a man in attendance tonight, and I don't break people's anonymity. That's something I do. There's two gentlemen I wanted to thank tonight that asked me to come to this meeting. I was at a meeting in Spring Hill. Two members from this meeting, I met them there. They said, hey, why don't you come down to 4D? I said, yeah, I'll come down to 4D. I wanted to get rocketed into the fourth dimension. And now I'm rocketed into the fourth dimension. If you haven't been rocketed into the fourth dimension, I highly suggest it. It's really cool. And let's see. So, like I was saying, my dad was asking me to go to a meeting. There's a gentleman in attendance here who I care for dearly, I haven't seen in a while. He was at that meeting, and there was other guys there as well. And my introduction to my first meeting for myself in Florida was, there was a guy, it was a screen room at the A Club, not in Port Richey, but in Spring Hill on County Line by 19. And it was a young men's meeting. It was called the Young Men's Meeting, Young Men's in Sobriety. It's a men's meeting. And there was a man there sitting in a chair in the middle of the screen room, and this guy, who I later found out was a Marine as well, was screaming at this guy at the top of his lungs. He was like, I can't believe you relapsed. What's wrong with you? And the guy's like, so? I drank it. Well, so what? He's like, you don't drink even if something falls off. If it does, bring it back in the meeting. We'll sew it back on for you. And all this, he was just screaming at him, you got to get on your knees and pray, this and that. I was freaked out at first. Like, this is weird, man. This guy's just yelling at this guy. But I got past it. If you're newer coming back, don't do what I did. I was around AA on the outside for a year and a half, not listening to any of the suggestions, didn't get a sponsor, went to one meeting a week. I was doing the Michael Jackson moonwalk out of the meeting every time I was there because I didn't want to be there. I still wanted to drink. So make sure it's still on. All right. So right around the end of 2007, at that same meeting, I decided I wasn't going to come back. I said, I'm just going to stay away. AA is not working for me. Lo and behold, I wasn't doing any of the suggestions. I was just on the outside, and things got really bad, so I stayed away, and I hit a bottom right around 2009. I was hospitalized, and I didn't get Baker acted. I actually went to James A. Haley Veterans Hospital in Tampa, and this nurse in the yard's like, so what's going on? I'm like, well, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I feel like killing this person, I want to do this, I want to do that. I was just a crazy veteran, out of his mind, drinking, acting crazy. And they said, well, we got some pajamas for you, we got some Haldol, we got some stuff we're going to give you, you're going to stay here for a little while. I said, oh, okay, this sounds great. And what I did was I saw a veteran in there that had complete wet brain, and that freaked me out. And to be honest with everybody in this room, after seeing that veteran with complete wet brain, and all he could do was go near a window and like point at stuff and slur words, and it didn't really make any sense. I felt so bad for him. I said, I'm not going to drink anymore. But when I got out of that hospital, I developed what I like to call $1 million nose, and I was doing the funny cigarettes for a while. So I came back to that same meeting in 2013. I came back to that same meeting, and this is where it gets my story a little differs, but we all have the same issues and problems. But I was ready to pick up my 5-year medallion when I got back to the Young Men's meeting. I was like, yeah, my friend that's here tonight, I told him, I'm ready to pick up my 5-year medallion. I haven't drank in 5 years, I'm ready. He looked at me, he was like, okay, is that what you say? We'll get you your 5-year medallion when we celebrate at the meeting. So the few guys pulled me aside, and thank God for that. They walked me into a room, and it said, denial, don't even know I'm lying. I saw that sign, and then another guy pulled me aside, who's no longer here with us, and he said, you should really try getting honest, man. You should cut the, you know what. And I slept on it. I didn't sleep that night. I thought about it. When I came to celebrate for that meeting, I didn't pick up that 5-year medallion because I wouldn't have earned it. I picked up my 24-hour day coin. And that's where I started my journey. I got a sponsor. Actually, the same guy getting yelled at in the chair, I made a beeline for him and asked to be my sponsor. Yeah, I remember you, man. You were getting yelled at the time I first came here. It was pretty cool. That's a whole other deep, dark story I'm going to get to in a little bit, because thank God I got rid of that resentment, because I'll get to it in a second. So I started listening to all the suggestions. Like my brother said, I did more than a 99. I did like a 390. I was they say some are sicker than others. You're looking at a really sick individual, man. Like, I can tell you that I've been, in 2003, when I was in the military, we went everywhere from Kuwait for a month, and then went crossing the line of departure into Iraq. I was everywhere from Basra to Al-Naziriyah to Fallujah to Baghdad and back to Kuwait for a month. And that was a really, really intense part of my life. I'm not gonna really talk about what we did over there. But thinking back on it, I chose probably the most dangerous MOS out there, military occupational specialty, was an 0621 field grade operator. When I was joining the military, they were like, hey, your life expectancy in a combat zone is gonna be like 30 seconds to a minute. So I'm like, yeah, but there's no wars going on right now. We're good, we're fine, just sign it, we're good. Good DAS, VAD, did all that stuff. And then in boot camp, they actually stopped training and said one of the recruits here's parents was in the Twin Towers when they came down during 9/11. I still didn't believe it. I'm like, nah, they're just messing with us. And then we came back to the barracks. Sorry, I use my hands a lot. Use the hands a lot once in a while. It's good. I don't know, set them here or just move them around. I don't know what to do with them. But it's okay. Back to what I was talking about. They wheeled the TV out because it was in the 2000s, and they showed us what happened to the Twin Towers. I'm like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have picked that job in the military, and I got really scared. And February 2003, I was in Kuwait and then back to Iraq, and then back 4 months in Iraq and back to Kuwait. So in the meeting in 2013, I started listening to all the suggestions. They said, get a sponsor, make coffee, chair meetings. Later, when I picked up a little bit of time, I said, I want to try to be this GSR. What's this GSR about? Anyone in this room has been a GSR, God bless you, because I did two-year tours of the GSR position, and it drove me absolutely nuts towards the end, because it was a big story in Hernando, and it was a big mess over there. I'm not going to get into it. It's just picture personalities before principles, and some guy that I was really close to, he was the DCM of that district, and they kind of they shoved him out of there, and he got a resentment from it, and he told me some really bad stuff about that. But I did my two years of GSR, and helped me out tremendously to get into service. That's what I want to focus on right now is getting into service. Like I said, started chairing meetings, made coffee, was GSR for two years, and now I'm going to get into a lovely part of the story of what it's like now. So I can honestly say this in a room full of friends, my brothers and sisters in AA, that for this present moment right now, I feel happy, joyous, and free. And I only say that because when I got here, I was not happy, joyous, and free. I was never much of the suicidal, hurt myself kind of guy. I wanted to hurt you and kill you, and that was more homicidal than suicidal, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of weird. I'll get to that in a second. So today I could actually say I'm a good father, and I don't say that because I'm saying it. My two children, Elias, 3 years old, and Ethan, 7, they tell me that, Dad, you're a good dad, we love you. And that means a lot to me, it really does. Because I always wanted to be a father, and I couldn't do it while drinking. I was a total sloppy, fall down drunk, out of control. And I'm a friend today. I got my friends in attendance here. You know who you are. I care for you a lot. And I want to personally thank this meeting and some of the men that invited me to it. It kind of rejuvenated my AA. I was kind of like in an AA slump for a little bit. And I'm going to mention right now how even though you could be sober for 12 years, life still comes at you, things happen. About a year ago, me and my wife, she told me, Christina, my ex-wife, said, it's time for a separation. And I was like, all right, is there any way we can work this out? I actually honestly asked her, I was like, can we work this out? Is it possible to do some counseling, blah, blah, this and that, and everything was turned down. So I knew right then and there that I'm not going to stay somewhere where I'm not loved or feel uncomfortable. So I got my stuff and I got out of there. And now, next card. Where's the next card at? I lost it. It's right here. So now, because of my network, because of the steps, because of my current sponsor, I can honestly say that I do not resent my soon-to-be ex-wife. As a matter of fact, we're getting along better now than while married. And I only say that because it was towards the end, it was really not that good of a place to be. I wasn't drinking or nothing. I had my part in it. I didn't cheat on her. I didn't hit her. I didn't yell at her. I didn't raise my voice. But I started getting lackadaisical around the house, and I kind of felt a disconnect from the matrimony there. And that's okay, because they told me job or no job, wife or no wife, you can still stay sober. I'm living proof of that. And so back to the sponsor I had, and the first sponsor I had. I wouldn't suggest this to anybody in this room, but do not take a trip to Las Vegas for your sponsor. It's not a good idea. I had my part in it. I tried being the big shot. I'm not going to I don't break people's anonymity ever. I don't ever break anonymity at all, but let's just say this guy's name is the Dude. The Dude was like, hey, let's go to Vegas. I got some comp rooms at the Caesar's Palace. So I said, all right, what does this entail? What are we going to do? He's like, we're going to gamble and we're going to hang out. I said, okay. Rooms paid for, flights paid for. I just bring some gambling money. And I played the big shot. I said, I didn't comprehend this, but when you have a credit card, you get the bill, you pay the bill, and then you don't get hit with interest. So I said, we'll get to that later. We're in Vegas. So he started asking me to borrow money, and I lent him some money, and I lent him some money again, and I took money out for myself, and I got myself in some debt. And let's just say the same guy that I'm talking about, I had a deep resentment towards him, and the guy that's no longer here with us, my friend from the Young Men's meeting told me, you got to work on that. So for those of you that do or do not know, you can be in meetings like this, speaker meetings, step meetings, and there's meetings that happen at close people you trust house, at their home. That's what I did. I had to do that to get some outside help. And that same sponsor, I looked at him, I said, when you can, pay me back. I'm not going to come chasing you, bothering you. And he squared up with me and paid me back, and I got rid of that resentment towards him. Haven't heard from him. I saw him recently about 3 or 4 months ago in the hospital. He wasn't doing too good. And I told that same man that I hated that I actually left that Young Men's meeting one time and picked up a garbage can. I wasn't going to throw it at him, but he's a little short. I'm pretty short, but he's shorter than I am. I didn't want to hurt him, man. I don't want to hurt this guy, man. So I took the garbage can into the parking lot and then started cursing and yelling, going crazy. And this is at like 6 or 7 years sober. So if you think you're going to be without resentments, without fears, that's not my story. Like I mentioned before, the divorce, the situation, I had to get past that because resentments are the number one offender that destroy more alcoholics than anything else. It doesn't say you'll drink, it'll say it'll destroy you, and that can come in many forms. So I got rid of that resentment. I saw him. I actually told the guy I loved him. I said, I love you, man. You took me through my steps in the beginning. I did some step work with you, and you saved my life. And he said, yeah, we had a nice little talk. It was good. Dang, man, I finished the cards. There's so much time left. How much time it is? Oh, that's all right. So I'm going to go on to about 8:05, 8:10, just speaking about different things here. I don't want to bore you guys or, stay up here all night, but Alcoholics Anonymous saved my life, like my brother said, saved my life. And I love it. I love AA with a wild, heart palpitating passion. I can honestly say that. For me, it had to become a way of life. And I want to tell anyone in this room, if you're a newcomer, if you're struggling with something, whether it's financial, physical, emotional, spiritual, drug-related, alcohol-related, if you're coming back, I want to tell you that if we can do it, you can do it as well. You got a chance to live a better life. And my friend told me to say this tonight, do not be discouraged. I wanted to mention that tonight too. There's different turning points in people's lives, my life, your life, and I can honestly say that as bad as it got out there, I would not trade my worst day sober for my I can't say it, I ever say that one right, man. I always mess that one up. You guys know what I'm talking about. I love Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's see. So this was, the thing I forgot to mention back, it was on the card as well, I totally missed it, was back to, I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, just bear with me. Like I said, I'm 100% service-connected disabled veteran. I got some mental health problems, drinking problems, all kinds of problems. But today, I know where I'm at. I know what time it is. I know what's up. So just put yourself in my shoes for a second. If you're in a small town where I'm from, the town next to it in central New Jersey is called Monroe, New Jersey. We got invited, me and my brother, to go to a party during the day. So I said, yeah, let's go. Why not? It's going to be some drinking. There's going to be some funny cigarettes there. Let's go. So we go there, and about 2-3 hours in the party, I was a peer pressure drinker too, big time in the military and before the military, where if a woman or a friend would ask me, hey, drink that, I'd drink it. And they would say, well, drink that. I would do that too. I was just always trying to drink as much as I possibly can. So in this party, it was canceled. Right in the middle, this girl comes running outside of her house. She goes, my parents are coming home. Get out of here. I'm like, oh, my God. I had just taken 4 quadruple shots of vodka while drinking all day long. So put yourself in my shoes. If you've ever been really drunk, I'm walking down the street. My clothes are all dirty. I'm crying. I'm falling all over the place. Brother's like, get up, Chris. What's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm drunk, man. Leave me alone. Alcohol is the only substance I've ever taken where it told me You're in your bed. You're safe. You're got the pillow right there. You're good to go. You made it. You're home. Well, I had passed out in front of milk and stuff in the parking space. And the pillow I thought was the pillow was actually the divider for where the car goes, so the cars will go forward. So I look up and I see my brother, a few friends from New Jersey, and my friend from New Jersey is grabbing my friend. They're like arguing in front of the store, and he's like slapping him across the face. I think it's the funniest thing I'm looking at. I'm like, what the hell is going on here, man? This is weird. Sheriffs come, police come. My brother and my friend Corey from New Jersey trying to pick me up. Like, get up, get up. I'm like, I'm home. What are you talking about? I'm in my bed. Leave me alone. So I just went passed back out. The sheriff picked me up. Two of them picked me up, put me in the cruiser. This is the first of many arrests and many problems. He said, you have the right. Before he could say the right, I was in the back of the cruiser. I projectile exorcist vomited in the back of the cruiser. It was so embarrassing. All over my shirt, the roof of the car, sides. It was there on my shoes. It was everywhere. My mom and dad came to the police station in Monroe, New Jersey, and my mom said, it looks like you aged like 10 years. What is wrong with you? Christian, wake up. I'm like, I don't know. And all I was going to call from that is sleeping for like 2 days after when I got home. And a friend of mine from New Jersey would call me, and he would say, hey, when you come back downstairs, our house was like the hangout spot. It's where all my friends came after school, before school, and we did tons of drinking. And he was like, hey, Carolyn's downstairs. She wants to see you. As this girl I had a big crush on in high school. I cannot physically get up from the floor from being having alcohol poisoning and blacking out, and that whole story I just told you about. And I was so angry at myself. Like, man, if I could just muster up enough, just force to get up and get down there, I'd go down the pool in my backyard and see Carolyn. Well, I couldn't make it. I was intoxicated, head was spinning and thrown up in the room. It was really terrible. So, to present day, the last 12 years, there's been a lot of good years and some bad days, like I mentioned before. This group, I know we've been coming here for about like 3 or 4 months, but it's a well-run group. You know, there's some good guys here, there's some good women here that open the doors. You know, I can see there's a lot of service work around here, a lot of service-oriented people. And that's what I wanted to try to focus on tonight is, if you're new, we're coming back, give yourself a shot. Don't pick up that first drink. It's not worth it. When I did go, so I mentioned a few weeks ago, one of the newcomers here, we went to Culver's actually, after one of the meetings here, and I saw this group functions, man. It's a good group. They want to do some fellowship after, to get some food, hang out. I was telling this guy, I'm like, I wound up in the brig after in 2006. When I got back off the Navy ship, I got put into the brig. For those of you who do not know, the brig is a wonderful place where they put you, it's like a military prison, it's like a jail. Prison/jail, there's different spots for it. I get there, and they're like, hey, you're going to special quarters. I'm like, what the hell does that mean, special quarters? They're like, yeah, you just assaulted one of the guards down there, you called him Porky Pig, all this weird stuff. And he's like, do you feel suicidal? I said, no, I do not feel suicidal. Like, do you feel homicidal? I said, yes, extremely homicidal. I had a plan, and that's how deep my resentments were. I had a plan, and I only say this if you ever had a really deep resentment is if you have something planned out. That's a deep-seated resentment. It's sick. I can tell you that this guy I served with, and I have made my amends to many of my Marine buddies. He's not the one I made amends to, but I'm willing to make amends to. I don't know where he is. I don't know where to find him. But anyway, I had a plan to pretty much end his life, and then whoever's around him end his life too. And that's some scary stuff. I say that only because alcohol would tell me what to do. It was a really, really powerful substance. It's cunning, baffling, and powerful. They say that in how it works, and it is absolutely 100% true. I remember them telling me when those you could clown around, because I was always a clown around kind of guy, laughing and stuff and making jokes. And they said when those, and those of you who've been behind bars know what I'm talking about. When those first time those bars swing shut and they slam shut, the guy told me, the guard there told me, he said, "You're gonna cry. You're gonna cry. I guarantee you're gonna cry." And I did. I felt awful. My life was totally unmanageable. I was powerless over alcohol. Had a lot of mental health problems. And I can honestly say that in that time in the brig, I met a few guys that had it worse than I did. And that's what I want to focus on too, is as bad as I may have it, someone always has it way worse than anyone in this room. That's why you got to keep the focus on steps 1, 2, and 3. That's what I want to focus on, kind of wrap it up with. Is on step 1, the principle behind that is honesty. I had to get honest with myself. This is cool, Mike. New sound system sounds good. Anyway, got to get honest. I hated getting honest at first. I was a really dishonest person for a long time. I was never trustworthy. I was the guy that you see me on the street, be like, hey man, where's the 20 bucks I'll lend you? I'd be like, oh, I'll see you next. I did the Matrix. So I was like, ooh, I don't want to see that guy. It was weird, man. Like just always looking behind my shoulder, always conniving, always conning, always scheming, always weird stuff. And I don't live that way anymore. Because I got honest with myself and I said, I do not want to drink anymore. I want to live a better life. And when I started doing the work that's outlined in the big book, it tells you, about how to get honest. The 1 through 164 is my favorite, and my absolute favorite is a doctor's opinion and the first step. It keeps it really fresh for me. It says it in the doctor's opinion, the manic depressive, of whom an entire chapter could be written on. I'm not going to say I'm waiting to write that chapter because I don't want no chapter in the big book. I don't have that kind of ego going on right now. But it's true. The manic depressive, if you have to seek outside help, there's nothing wrong with that. And I learned in the military a long time ago, you got to bend your knees. If you're ever up here speaking, don't keep your knees locked. You could actually fall over and pass out. So I got to bend my knees every once in a while. I saw plenty of guys in the military were serving. It's one of the first things I was told. When you stand somewhere for a long period of time, you bend your knees because if you lock them, you could pass out. So, and the principle behind the second step, a lot of you know, is hope. There's hope in this room. There's hope in other rooms. I had to get out of myself and get out of the way. I had to let just the program infiltrate my spirit and my soul, and just I had to get honest, man, and I had to find some hope in these rooms. And then the third step, make a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him. I'm not a big guy. That's where my 2 weakest areas of my program are talking about God in open places, and also meditation. I'm really bad at meditation. I try the Karate Kid music and Zen, all that stuff, but it doesn't work out for me all the time. And I was going to say, some of the guys know here when I was talking about, I made the mistake one time of describing my higher power. I was in a meeting at the A Club, not the new Port Richey one, the one in Hernando. And this guy was like, I said, my higher power happens to be 9 pound, 8 ounce baby Jesus. And the guy shared it after I did. He goes, hey, he's not a baby anymore. He's a grown man. And I was like, oh God, here we go. I made a mistake. So my higher power is just my higher power. I don't have to describe it. I don't have to figure it out. I don't have to run around and say, what's he doing? What am I doing? I just got to do my part. And a lot of good things have happened in my life. I was able to graduate college in the program, have 2 beautiful sons through the program, had some good time while married, but that came to an end, obviously. I told you guys that before. But graduating college, it was a battle. I cannot pass the college level maths. So I reached out to the VA. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm staying sober. I'm not using drugs, and mental health's okay right now. Well, how do I go about doing this? So, well, you could substitute. If those of you do or do not know, if you have trouble I'm not sure any college does it. I don't know that whole stipulation of it. But they said we could substitute your college level maths and we could put in a science and elective or something like that. So I did that. And I remember being at that graduation because I had never thought I'd be able to graduate college. And they said, if you're a veteran and served this country, stand up. I stood up and I cried like an actual, like a baby, man. I was like in tears. People looking at me, this guy's weird, man. What's wrong with this guy? It was really a powerful moment because I always wanted to graduate college. I always wanted to be a father. I always wanted to be the man I always wanted to be. And I couldn't even do that in the military. In the Marines, they tell you it's honor, courage, commitment. I'm here to tell you right now, while serving in the military, I didn't have much honor. I was, like I mentioned before, all I cared about was drinking. That's all I cared about. And then I can honestly say the courage comes in the 4-step. It came for me in the 4-step and the 5th step. Integrity and the courage came in those steps. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of rambling a little bit here, but it's okay. I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to go out by 8:05, and we'll call it a night. So I'm trying to think right now what I can honestly say to the group, the group here in front of me. If you've been here for a while, or you've been here for a short time, stick around. This program is a miracle manufacturing wonderful program. I was thinking about it since I was asked to speak here about a month or two ago. And up until today, I'm like, I got to get some stuff written down, man. I got to write some stuff down here, or else I'm going to mess it all up. And I met with a friend who I care for in my network, and he said, yeah, just be yourself, don't be yourself, tell the truth, don't lie. And I got a friend that I know, he always says, I'm gonna stop now before I start lying. I think that's hilarious. There's so many funny things that heard in AA. All the slogans, the sayings I thought were so corny when I got here, they're the tenets of my life today, man. Like, it says, the think sign upside down. That used to tick me off really bad. Like, why is that sign upside down? Put it right side up. And they told me, no, leave that sign alone. It's there for a reason. I don't want to tell anybody in this room that life will just be, tiptoeing through the tulips and peaches and cream. There's a lot of rough days in the way, but it is designed for a living that works in the rough going. I can honestly say, like I mentioned before, I am happy, joyous, and free. The happiness comes from just understanding that I couldn't laugh when I got here, and I was a laughter kind of guy, man. I grew up watching like Half Baked and Pineapple Express, man. Those movies are hilarious, man. I would laugh all the time, make references towards them. And for a while there, while drinking, I stopped being able to laugh. I'm like, nothing's funny. My life's a mess. Everything is just totally going wrong. Why this? Why that? Well, maybe someone told me some rocket science one day. They're like, why don't you try going to a meeting, don't drink in between the next meeting, go to that next meeting. I was like, wow, that is monumental, man. I never thought of that. I always thought it was you go to a meeting, and I'm a guy that did this, and you drink in between meetings. And I suffered the consequences, man. It was terrible. I'd go to meetings, and that's the most, in 2006 and 2007, when I was in that Young Men's meeting, I would parrot stuff. I would say, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I was full of you-know-what to the brim. My eye color's brown, so I purged it out. And I have a sponsor today. I got most guys I sponsored, and this is where it's a little different too from my story. Most guys I sponsored just asked me to be their sponsor, to say I have a sponsor. I attract some of the sickest of the sick. So I don't know how to explain it. I just attract the sickies. And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. But one guy recently, about 2 years ago, he made a beeline to me. He said, remember me? I did the whole, yeah, I remember you, Guy. You're the guy. Hey, Guy, what's up, Guy? I didn't know who he was. I had no idea who he was. He's like, yeah, you helped me out when 5, 6 years ago. You were talking to me outside. I said, oh, yeah, I remember you now. I took that man to the steps, and he's sober to this day. He couldn't be here tonight. He's working. He's out. He's doing really, really well. And that's the stuff that motivates me today, man, is seeing the newcomer, someone struggling. Their eyes light up, man. It's like you see the hole in the soul start, closing up. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's the most joy I get out of AA, is seeing a newcomer or someone that's struggling turn that corner, man, and just get that being intoxicated with the spirit. I don't know how to explain it. It just happens. It doesn't happen for everybody, but that's okay too. They said put the plug in the jug. I'm like, put the plug in the jug? What does that mean, man? That sounds crazy. I'm not going to put no plug in the jug. I remember in 2002, me and a Marine buddy said, hey, let's get a funnel going. And that's how I knew I was an alcoholic at a young age. My behaviors, my mannerisms. A normal person doesn't, drink beer through a funnel. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of strange. It goes very fast. It gets really drunk. He said, let's put 1,000 beers through a funnel over the course of the weekend. I said, okay, that sounds good. I have the picture to this day on my phone. I'm sitting outside of the PX with a shopping cart, and it's full to the brim with 30 packs of Ice House. Really good quality beer, really good stuff. Anyway, so I said, all right, let's do it. Let's put some beers to the funnel. We wound up doing more than 1,000 beers over the course of the weekend to the funnel, and it was really, really bad. I almost fell off the 3rd floor of the barracks I was at. Just to let you guys know that don't know about the military and stuff like that. If you ever hear the word barracks, that's like a frat house times 1,000. There's guys outside playing guitar, people shooting dice, there's people playing video games. My brother came to visit me when I came back from Iraq, and it was so strange. It wasn't Halloween, but he thought it was Halloween. This guy wheeling out wheeling out a freaking IV bag and stuff. He got really intoxicated at the strip club we went to. That was weird. And he almost died, man. I'm like, dude, you're going to die if you drink that drink. It was called an ice pick. I'll never forget it. It was outside of Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina, at It slipped my mind at the strip club. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna forget it. It's not there anymore. It's okay. It's gonna bug me now, man, because I would go there all the time. We would get really drunk, and they had this drink called the Ice Pick. It was like 10 liquors with a little bit of flavor to it. It was called the Driftwood. I remembered it. Anyway, he drank that down, and then he drank another one down, and he kept drinking. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna do good, man. This is gonna be really bad. I later, with my brother was there with me, down the road, I made my amends to that same guy. And it was kind of like one of the most powerful amends I ever went through. I said, all the stuff that happened on the Navy ship, all the stuff I said and did, I said, I cleaned up my side of the street, and he embraced me and he said, it was a really powerful moment. I got rid of a lot. It was like a blanket kind of amends, man. It kind of like, I had a really deep hatred towards the military when I got out because of what happened to me. That same hatred I had kind of flip-flopped after I made that amends. I actually love the military, man. Keep checking the clock. 2 minutes to 8. Anyways, we got time, man. So anyway, on my discharge form, it's so weird looking, the DD-214. You see all this stuff on my discharge form from the military, and that's why I love it so much, is it says stuff on there like, the thing that stands out the most is rank when highest rank achieved E4, soon to be an E5, got out, it says E1. I'm like, man, that looks kind of weird. But I have 2 awards. I gave one to my brother, the actual award I got. We put it on a uniform. It's called the Combat Action Ribbon. And I also got the Presidential Unit Citation. And those are pretty high unit military awards. And this is military talk now. I'm trying to wrap it up. But anyway, I have about 12 or 14 other ones of those on my uniform. And I could tell you that when I got back from Iraq in 2003, I had a humongous ego problem along with a drinking problem. We got a new chain of command, and those in the military know when that happens, it usually goes really good or really bad. Well, this case went really bad. And all the guys in charge of us, they had like 1 or 2 on their uniform, like 1 or 2 little awards. And I'm standing there, I got like a whole like uniform full of them. And he's like, what's wrong with you? My whole life you've been asking me, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? I don't have the answer to that question. If I did, I would tell you. But I used to always point the finger. And they told me, you're pointing one at somebody, there's 3 pointing right back at you. So you got to look at yourself. You can't just always, I had to gain some humility here, man, and smash that ego. I do not want to have an ego at all. Ego is not my amigo. It's a really dangerous grounds if you got ego problem. I was an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. I thought the whole world revolved around me, and it doesn't. It's just going to be, life keeps happening. If you're sober today, give yourself a hand, man. That means a lot to me. These guys that walked up here picking up their chips, that fills me with joy, man. Seeing people get honest and get up here and collect their chip, that's what it's all about for me today, man. It's not about, do I have 12 years? Yeah, I do. I got today. I woke up at 6 this morning. That's how long I'm sober. Tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to drink. I know that. Because I know if I drink, the drink is to die. It says it all throughout the literature, I love the 1 through 164. I'm not a big book thumper. I read the big book. I love the 1 through 164. What I try doing is just living what's in that book. If that makes any sense. You could read all you want, but if you're not practicing what you're reading, it's kind of just, you're kind of missing the whole point there. But I'm trying to think of any kind of things I want to leave you guys with, but I just wanted to really, really take a drink of water. And I was thirsty. There's someone's phone's up here. I don't know, is that a root phone or something like that? I don't know what this is. It's okay. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up with not the amends process. I'm going to kind of go back to 1, 2, and 3. They told me if you get stuck on something, go back a little bit. If you're stuck on it, if you haven't got to 4, go back to 3. If you're at 3, you're having a problem with your higher power, if you choose to not call God or call God, back up to 2, back up to 1. It's not a race here. It's a lifelong journey for me. Like I said, I made all kinds of jokes tonight. It was funny and this and that. I don't try to be funny to be myself. Most of the stuff I said tonight, I've heard somebody else say. I'm just saying it. But something I wanted to say to this group here tonight, and my brothers and sisters in AA, is that if I can do it, you can do it. We stand at many turning points through our journey here. Don't make the turn where you're going to pick up that drink. It's not worth it. I can tell you that alcohol, it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. Alcohol is, but alcoholism times that by 1,000. That's really that's beyond cunning, baffling, and powerful. If you're an alcoholic and you know deep down inside the time you're an alcoholic, I bend my knees again. I don't want to pass out. Don't pick up that first drink. They said the first drink gets you drunk. I'm like, no, it doesn't. The 10th beer got me drunk. What are you talking about? I'm like, nah, man, it's the first one that gets you. I'm like, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I had it all wrong when I got here. All wrong. All kinds of problems with finances, with spirituality, with emotions. I had no emotional sobriety when I got here. I was a walking train wreck. I was a walking liability. I was a menace to society when I got here, and I am no longer that same person. It took a lot of the terrific beating administered by alcohol. It really beat me down bad. Like at that age, you fall in the pool. It's cold and it's crowded. But I knew deep down inside, I'm like, man, why did I fall in this pool, man? It's cold. It's snowing out. My parents are gonna be pissed, and it was really scary. I almost drowned. When you fall into a pool, where I fell in was in the middle of it, and the whole tarp just started engulfing me, and it was kind of strange. My brother pretty much saved my life, so that's where I want to end with. My brother Jordan. All the stories, the stuff I talked about, growing up and this and that, see him after the meeting and tell you all about how crazy I am. I have a lot of yets, man. I think we all have some yets, but I do not want to drink tonight or tomorrow. I don't plan on drinking tonight. I don't have relieve the mental obsession, use alcohol or any kind of drug. And my brother is my best friend. He means the world to me. I don't know how to explain it. I'm actually capable of being a brother today and have friends in the room. People that are here in attendance, you know who you are. You saved my life. I wasn't going to be a statistic. You hear those crazy veterans doing crazy stuff. That's what I was on the road to do. And I did not want to do that. They told me, I heard in the Men of Honor, it says you don't have to wear a uniform to have honor. And I've worn the uniform without honor, and tonight I'm not wearing a uniform, I'm just wearing a suit. I can honestly say I have honor tonight. And I am a father, I'm a son, I'm a friend, I'm an alcoholic. And I choose this life over the alcoholic life any time of the week, twice on Sundays, man. I'm not going to the PX tonight to buy 1,000 beers and making a funnel and putting the top on it. That's all weird behavior, man. Man, it's almost time. It's almost time to call it a night. There's a guy in Brooksville, I forget his name, but they said he chugged beer faster than anybody. I'm like, all right, where is this guy? I wanted to see him. Let's just say his name is the dude. We sat there. He's like, I'm gonna drink you on the table. I'm gonna smoke you. I'm like, all right, let's see what you got, brother. It was about 2006, I think. I forget when it was. I smoked that guy, man. There's something I do. That's not a good quality to have if you're an alcoholic. Because if you drink fast, it makes it a mess, man. Life turns a mess when you drink too fast. I've said way too much tonight. I want to thank this group. I want to thank my friends that invited me to come here. This group is a good group. It's got a lot of good people in it. I've met a lot of you personally on an individual basis. And if you're new or coming back, give yourself a chance, man. It's the best thing that'll ever happen to you. I have some issues I'm dealing with now, but they're not as bad as they used to be, man. It used to be really, really bad. Mental health in the gutter, all kinds of problems. And in closing, I wanted to say that the motto in the Marine Corps is Semper Fidelis. That stands for always faithful. If you have some hope that turns to faith, and you can muster up enough courage, you can make it here. And it's the absolute best thing that happened to me. I love you all and have a good night.